This is episode 72.
Welcome to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Ultimate Deck Podcast. Helping you keep your finger firmly pressed on the decking industry, the people in it, and the information you need to master the backyard. And now, host of the Ultimate Deck Podcast, Shane Chapman.
Welcome, everybody, to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. We're here at the live news studio on 4th Avenue in Regina, Saskatchewan, north of Dudney with Wade
NOD.
Laurent. NOD.
Even Garrett knows what NOD means.
Garrett does, and Garrett, he'll be tuning into this one today for sure.
I give him a heads up.
Did you give him a heads up?
Because I called him to fix the website.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then I was like, you're going to want to tune in. And then he said, I'm going to call Craig.
And Craig just replied on our post from this morning, and so I gave him the heads up. You're going to want to tune into this one.
It's going to be a big one.
This is going to be a good one.
Hey, Corona free still this week, you?
You?
Yeah, I am.
I'm waiting and seeing.
Okay. 14 days. Then you'll decide.
No fever yet.
Good morning.
So good morning from down under, says Illuminated Balustrade on the Instagram Live. So again, we have started doing the Instagram Live during the podcast all the time now. And so if you ever want a chance to jump in and ask questions, jump into the Instagram Live. When is it? Well, it just depends.
It's usually around
always on Saturday.
4:30 on Saturdays.
But you just got to kind of keep an eye. I try to put up a story and say, heads up, we're going to do the podcast in blah minutes or approximately this time. So you just kind of keep your eye on our stuff and then you'll find out. But today we are talking about why would you ever buy TimberTech? You cringed. That was like nails in a chalkboard.
Why would you ever buy TimberTech?
People are starting to load into the Instagram Live here, so that's good. But yeah, this is the 2020 edition because we did a little roundup of these last year, kind of a why would you ever for each brand, but things change, right?
There was some changes this year.
And so it only makes sense to update these. So this is the 2020 version of why would you ever buy TimberTech? Let's get after it.
Here we go.
Are we doing Simcoe news today?
I didn't load it up.
Well, I even gave you the heads up on that.
I know. Okay, hold on. Hold on.
We're going to find some timber. Okay. We are putting some TimberTech into.
I type in Sim in my search bar and then it pops up. It's like Simcoe local.
So I actually had some Simcoe news pop into my Google feed, my Google feed news today. I don't remember what it was. I didn't look real close, but there was some Simcoe County news happening in there. Wade's going to pull that up though, and we're going to find out what's happening in Simcoe in about 2 seconds here.
Here we go.
Here it is.
We'll just go to this one.
Simcoe County news.
It's loading.
From Wade. This is your only bit. This is your only bit that you own.
It's 11 degrees
on
there.
this podcast.
It's 11 degrees.
Get on top of it. 11 degrees Celsius? That's a pretty decent day. That's warmer than it is here today.
Oh, they've started putting hearts on windows there.
Somebody wants to join our Instagram. They want to be on the live video with us. I don't think that's something we're going to do now.
No indication of COVID-19 spreading through Aurelia long-term care home. So that's good. They're not spreading it in the care facility.
Your description didn't give any more information than the title you read.
Yep, that's it. That was all there was. I opened it and everything.
Give us a good news story from Simcoe. There's got to be something good in there.
Oh, there was. But it was on page 2 of Google. Nobody goes there, but I was there. Doorstep delivery from your local Simcoe County craft brewery.
Oh, there we go. Now that's some good news from Simcoe County.
Here's a good news story.
There we go. Okay, so that's what's happening in Simcoe this week. We're staying safe there, sounds like, and we're drinking beer.
Here we go. Redline Brew House in Barrie. They'll deliver to your doorstep, even in GTA. Visit the website, select order online, choose the pick up in store option, and they will deliver it to you.
Yeah, but don't pick it up in store.
I've never built a website. I don't know how hard it is to put the button on there that says delivery, but it mustn't be that hard.
It's real easy. Real impossible, it sounds like.
Pick up in store, and then we'll deliver it to your house. Anyways, did you see that they were talking about closing down off sales?
Here?
In Manitoba, I thought. They were like, we're going to close off sales. Not the actual liquor store, but the off sale.
Outside of one territory that's having none of it.
Zing.
Of this coronavirus, because none of it's got none of it. Outside of that, Manitoba is like one of the least hit areas. So why are they first to pull people's booze permits?
I don't know, but I'll tell you what, I was not worried about the toilet paper situation. This one has piqued my interest.
Well, you're not buying it from Manitoba.
Wait a second.
Anyway, that's the
Okay, so Simcoe news.
COVID-19
COVID's not spreading in the long-term care facilities, and craft beer is available to your door.
good news. Double good news story this week from Simcoe County. TimberTech, if you're not familiar, which you should be. If you're in the industry, you should be familiar with TimberTech. It's the big number 2 brand in the entire industry. Simcoe Dex just joined now and missed the Simcoe news. Now he's going to have to tune in the actual podcast. TimberTech is like one of the monsters of the industry. They're a gigantic brand. They have a variety of brands within them. They do a lot of different products, but TimberTech is kind of their the decking brand of the Azek company. And so all of their both composite and PVC deck boards are under the TimberTech brand now, but the PVC deck board is being defined by a sub brand of Azek. They've kind of like,
I think that was a good change. I think that was a good change. I do. Because like to the research that they did, it was like you had 2 brands competing against each other. It was like, well, is it Azek or is it TimberTech? And it's like, well, no, it's all one company. It's TimberTech. It used to be one company was Azek, and it was like,
but do you feel like it's
top name?
Kind of like Coca-Cola calling their smart water like Coca-Cola Smart Water? Like, just because you have another brand in a different category doesn't mean it has to have your corporate brand above it all. I don't know if it's the right move or not. It doesn't bother me. Like, I know to the average person, like to people who are in the industry and understood those brands existed before, and it was like TimberTech and Azek, and those words made sense to them together. It's like, it's fine. But I'm guessing that some people that don't have that depth of knowledge, which is 99.8%, they are wondering what the hell an Azek is.
Is that a fact? Where did we pull these stats from? These
stats are everywhere right now. You just look at the news, you can pull stats for anything.
9.8% of people didn't know.
Or an Aztec, as they'd say. What's a TimberTech Aztec?
What's the TimberTech Aztec?
Anyway, I just know as I write these things out, they're a little frustrating for me because it's like so much. It's like,
it's a lot.
TimberTech, Pro, Terrain, Variegated, Silver Maple, like 6 words for 7 words for one color. But anyways, I'm sure it's not hurting them or helping them. It's just how they decided to categorize their brands now. So whatever, that's fine. All good here.
I liked it.
They've got quite a wide selection of products within their lineup of decking. It's huge. It's here we go.
It's the biggest.
It's huge. It's a monster lineup. I can't remember what I counted. I meant to do this beforehand. I think it's around 34, 36 colors, somewhere there. It's like mid 30s they've got for colors. That's like gigantic lineup of decking to choose from. And they've kind of split it into 3.
It's the biggest lineup in all of the industry.
In the whole industry.
It's the greatest. It's the greatest lineup. Yeah. I'm not nearly as good at that.
Yeah, I'm willing to let you
practice.
go. I'm willing to let you go with it. Just like, it's your week this week. He'll put up a little montage of you doing Donald Trump's voice. You should do Trudeau's voice, and then we could have a real back and forth on here.
Yeah. It's the greatest.
Oh, there it is.
So unbelievable.
Listen here.
I can't believe you have the nicest decking.
Okay, there it is. That's, bang on. Is that Trudeau? Bang on. Is Trudeau here? 3 subcategories that kind of define the types of decking within the TimberTech brand. So you've got the TimberTech Edge line, which is their entry level kind of lowest cost solution with a non-capped back. So all of TimberTech's products are capped, like every good brand is nowadays. But in the Edge line, they don't cap the backside as a cost reduction measure. There's no capping in the back, which is similar to what Trex does and half of Fiberman's lineup. And a lot of companies don't cap the back. But within their Pro line, you get the full cap. So not just the top sides, bottoms, but the groove as well. Because there's other companies like a Fiberman or something that would cut the groove in after the board was capped already. And so you're kind of cutting through the cap.
Yep.
It doesn't really matter that much, but on paper, TimberTech's full cap that goes through the groove and everything is the most complete capping solution in the market.
Encapsulated.
Sure. Good word.
I did some research.
Yeah, it's good. So that's the Pro. That's the
Can
Pro
I go
line.
now?
You can.
Nailed it.
You're dismissed. Within the Pro line, there's 3 other brand, like subcategories within that, which we'll get to.
Within the Pro line.
Within the Pro line.
Yeah.
And then you've got your Azek line, which is their 100% PVC, cellular PVC line.
Yep.
Not a composite, however you say it, not. It's just got no organic material in it, straight PVC.
Correct.
That's a premium line. They've also got 3 subcategories within that line.
Yes.
It's just it's a handful. There's a lot going on in their lineup. Are you on the webpage right now? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
I was like, what's he doing? He's checking his Instagram right now.
No, you said load the webpage. So I've loaded the webpage. I'm like,
Okay.
I'm getting ready to review the product with you.
So we're going to go through each of these categories, talk a little bit about the colors, why you might want to purchase one of these, why you might not, whatever. Just give you the information that you need to make a decision on whether these boards are for you or not.
That's right.
Right? Why would you ever choose TimberTech?
Why would you ever choose this? We'll tell you.
So within the first category, that edge line, that entry level, why do I keep wanting to say primary? There's like,
Well, because it's prime, edge prime.
no,
What's the
I
primary
guess.
line?
It's a primary.
It's a primary line in our store.
Sure. Is it? What does that mean?
Well, we took a stocking position on those.
Okay. Yeah.
So
okay.
as far as TimberTech goes,
We stock those ones.
we stock their edge prime line.
Sure. So Edge is split up into 2 subcategories called Prime. Well, actually 3. Prime, Premier, and Prime Plus.
Right.
You still love this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check.
I'll
Keep checking your temperature throughout the show
It's
here.
not happening. I'm not changing. I'm going to.
Okay. So TimberTech Edge Prime is a 2-color lineup. This is a scalloped board with no cap in the back, comprised of 2 solid colors, no variegation, called Maritime Gray and Dark Teak. So there's a gray and a brown.
This is to compete with composite or with treated lumber, treated decking. This is their entry level.
Yeah, their aggressive low price point. Yeah. So
20.
in the same vein as a TimberTech, a Trex Enhanced Basics, like a competitor to that. Everybody's kind of got that low cost going after treated board. Yep. That's what that one is.
Correct.
Now they've also got their Premier line, which includes those same 2 colors. And I believe the difference here now, unless something's changed, the difference was this was going to be a full thickness board. So a different profile. And I thought at one time it was going to be a little bit thinner, but I don't know if that actually ended up being the case or not. Somebody would have to, these aren't available in Canada, so I'm not overly familiar with them, but they also include 2 additional colors in there called Beechwood Gray, which is a light gray, we don't need to describe the colors. You can watch the YouTube show that we're going to do about this to see what the colors look like, but and Tidal Sand. So there's 4 colors within the Premier line that you're going to see that are available in the US of A. What'd you find?
A flat, full profiled bottom offers strength and more solid feel underfoot.
Yeah.
Similar to traditional lumber.
So that's the difference between the Edge line, the Edge Prime line and the Edge Premier line. Is Prime is scalloped. That's what you're going to see in Canada, and Premier is not scalloped. That's what you're going to see, I believe, in the USA. I think that's the.
Yep.
Or maybe both are available in the USA. I actually don't know that for sure, but I know only the Edge Prime is available in Canada. So that's
At
the
the
first
Ultimate
few.
Deck Shop.
Now, 2 new colors this year they've launched.
Yep.
Called the Edge Prime Plus line.
Yes.
TimberTech Edge Prime Plus has 2 colors. in
Yes.
it. These are variegated. The plus just stands for multicolor. They've got some streaking.
More material. Plus 2 colors in the first one. Plus then they put 2 more colors in.
Plus 2 more pretty colors. We should also mention that this line is actually remarkably durable for an entry-level board, right? Like we like to test things when they come into us. And last year when these new boards, when Edge was first brand new, we kind of did the scratch test when Enhanced Basics came out, and we took the Good Life line to compare it, and we took the Edge Prime boards at the time, and we tried to mess them all up a little bit. And the Prime line was actually surprisingly durable for an entry-level board, more so than some of their higher end stuff.
That's correct.
So if you're looking for something that's durable, you got big dogs or something, and you're on a budget, then that Edge Prime line is a good contender for you to be looking at.
Yep.
If you want something that looks a little prettier, that's not just kind of like the drab solid colors, then the Edge Prime Plus line is going to give you the same profile, same non-scallop back, same embossing. So it's very linear. There's no knots. It doesn't look like knotted wood or anything. It's a very linear, straight line embossing to it.
Yep.
Then the Edge Prime Plus is going to give you 2 more colors with variegation called Coconut Husk, which is like a yellowy brown with a little bit of streaking to it, and Sea Salt Gray, which is this one's a pretty nice color. There's not a ton of variegation in them, but there's enough to give it some character. I like the names of those ones. Those are my favorite names.
Sea Salt Gray is good.
Sea Salt Gray and Coconut Husk.
I think Coconut Husk is, so I picture a darker color than what the board
Like
is.
more like, yeah.
I think it's dark. A coconut husk to me is quite dark.
I feel like there's very few names in the decking industry that actually look like what they're named after.
I don't know.
This
Foggy
continues the
Wharfs
thread.
or
Foggy Wharf looks like a foggy wharf. You're right.
I don't know why that one pops up.
Yeah, that was a random one there. But
all of the Edge collection is available in the US.
there we go. Somebody from this is good. We can learn and
Here we go.
share
So they have
at the same
everything
time on Instagram.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So I wonder who makes the decision that the Premier line's not available in Canada. I wonder if that's a distribution decision or if TimberTech's like, no, that one just doesn't go up there.
Doesn't travel well.
Maybe.
I don't know.
So that rounds out the Edge line. If you're looking for a budget board that has a pretty good durability to it, then Edge, any of these lines are a great option for you. Now, the Premier line as well, because it's a full thickness boards, does have plugs available, I believe, for it. And so you can use the Cortex plug system if you like. The scalped ones in the Edge Prime and Prime Plus do not have those available.
Yep.
Now, if you paid attention in school today, you would know that two of the colors are the same. So if you wanted to sneak some plugs into some of those dark teak or maritime gray boards, it's certainly doable. Bada bing, bada boom. Warranty on that on the Edge line is 25 years, fade, stain, and structural. So you're backed with a pretty good warranty on top of all that as well.
That's a great warranty.
Like there's really no knock against this board other than if you don't like the colors that are available, because there's not a ton of colors there. Like, in the Prime line, there's only two options.
Correct.
So if you need something that's not available in those, that's the only thing against it. Other than that, they're good looking boards. They're very durable. They got a great warranty, and you're getting a good brand that's going to be around even after COVID-19, I think.
Yep. So usually you will talk about price points on these things. Do you want to throw a?
Yeah, I usually do, but I was looking at this list and how many there are, and I was like, oh boy, I don't know if I want to go there.
Okay.
But this is the lowest one.
Okay.
There's just a lot of steps here. Okay, fine. We're going to go there.
Well, you don't have to give them the number.
My guess
just
is the Edge. This is always tricky too because the exchange rate, and the exchange rate is bastardized right now.
It is not good.
I don't know how what even I should not get off on this tangent, but how is this even happening right now? Why is the Canadian dollar getting beat up so bad when we're going through this crisis
Together
and in a better state? I don't know that our economy's not, so maybe that's what plays into. Anyway, whatever. We've lost a lot of points in exchange rate lately, and it's going to affect things.
Well, I don't know. I went down and asked him, and he just said that he was gonna tank our dollar. So
pound sand, Trudeau. Pound sand.
I'm pretty sure that's how that NAFTA negotiation.
That's for sure how that went. The Pro line. Okay, so Pro we mentioned was the 100% cap. Now,
even through the groove.
I
like this.
So, like we talked about this last week, how the COVID can hide in there, but this one's
not here.
A slippery groove. So it's a little bit harder for it to attach in these ones.
Who did you say that to?
I don't know. Somebody asked about our opinion between
CM Boost was commenting on it.
Yeah,
on a post.
So the Pro line, the Pro line's a little bit tricky.
Crevice.
Because the Pro line, I feel like within the Edge line, the boards are all of similar quality, right? Like they've all got the same finish, etc. But within the Pro line, there's actually quite a variety of quality, I think, from where the train line sits to where the legacy line sits on the top of this lineup. I feel like there's a bigger gap in price and quality than there is within the Edge line. So the train line used to be, before Edge came along, the train line used to be their lowest cost board. This was their entry level board.
Yep.
Solid colors, 3 of them. So rustic elm, stone ash, sandy birch, a brown, a gray, and a tan color.
Yep.
And then 2 variegated lines get lumped in with that same category called brown oak and silver maple, and those are variegated a little bit. They've got some black streaking to them. So brown oak is like an orangey brown with black streaking, and silver maple, hot color, always a good seller, has like a medium gray with some black streaking to it.
Do you think that sea salt gray is going to take the sales from silver maple?
I believe that it should.
Should be a less expensive board that's more durable.
Cheaper, more durable, like less resistance, more resistant to scratching, I should say. And I don't know, I kind of think it looks better.
Me too.
So I would be surprised to see if in a couple of years from now that sea salt gray hadn't kind of taken over the silver maple spot as far as sales go.
Yeah.
I would this is based on nothing, but this is all opinion, but I'm allowed to do that because it's our podcast.
Yep.
And nobody paid for this episode. So we get to say what we want to say. Yeah. I would think that maybe the train line goes away in the future, like not too distant future. if this was my lineup, if this was me, if I was calling the shots here, I would turf the train line.
You really stepped up. You're CEO of TimberTech now.
In a couple of years. Like I just, it used to be a great board when it was the lowest cost board, and it was like, but I just think that edge line is so good that it kind of devalues the train line a little bit, in my opinion.
Right.
I don't want no emails from TimberTech. I'm just saying I think your edge line is fantastic, and so it kind of devalues train a little bit.
It's better than, it's a better line than train line.
Edge, you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe. Like the only advantage I think train has over it is the capping on the back, but it's very, very rare that that's actually an advantage.
So I have used that a couple of times when people talk about ground level decks, and you're getting that close to the ground, and there's a lot of, like, it just doesn't have airflow, right? And so
no ventilation.
I recommend the idea of using the full cap. I think that's a better.
Or in a dock is the other situation we commonly will say, like, if you're going to be on a dock and it's going to be continuously getting splashed on, or a heavy humidity under a dock, if it's close to the water level, then maybe that back cap is a good thing.
Yeah.
And I think in most scenarios, you're okay without it.
I believe the train also has better traction than the edge. And so, like, when you're talking about slipping and stuff, so on a dock or around a pool where you have high moisture content, it's good to have that extra traction.
So there is that component too, for sure. Yeah. I do think it's because terrain
scratch is a little easier.
Yeah.
That's the
terrain has, I would say, one of the better traction coefficients. That sounds scientific, but it's not. This is my own opinion again.
It's like you're just 99.8% of people are going to agree with them too. Here we go.
But it just it just has better traction than most composite deck boards.
Yes.
PVCs are much, much better than most any composite, but if you're comparing composite to composite, terrain has like really good traction comparatively
to all brands, all composite, period.
Yeah.
Yep.
If I was rating traction on all the brands that we carry out of a scale of 10, I would give train probably about a 6 to 7, but that's as high as composites go.
Do you consider Decorators a composite?
Well, boy, that's tough.
Because it is.
That's a tough one right there. Sorry, wood plastic composites. Sure. WPCs.
You take the stone.
Decorators is on another level. Decorators is a 10 to 10.5 on traction scale.
Right.
But I guess I was talking more between the
3. You're talking
traditional
between Trex
brands
and
of capped
and
WPC, like wood plastic composites.
Yeah.
It performs really well.
Okay, what did Eric ask? I
don't even know. I didn't see him ask a question, but he's saying, Darden, you answered my question. So maybe we answer it before he asked it.
Oh, I think that's right.
Look at this. Busy. What is going on here?
These guys are just chatting with each other.
I keep looking up here from time to time and seeing no questions. Then I scroll. So what are you telling me here? I don't know how you're saying this works, Bryce. I click questions. There's nothing in there. I don't see the ability to do anything with it.
They're not asking actual questions.
Do they have to actually do something on their end to make that happen?
Yeah, they have to ask a question.
So they're going to see that button too?
Yeah, they'll see a button like that.
Okay.
If they see that button, then...
Here you go. For people on Instagram Live, this is we'll pause this podcast for an important message to
both
Instagram.
of you.
If you're going to ask a question on Instagram Live here, use the little questions button at the bottom, because in that way they get like queued into a little basket for us to see, and we don't have to scroll through the comments to find them. So start doing, I got the thumbs up from the producer here, so I've explained that correctly. So do that.
It wasn't a thumbs up from me.
If we scroll back, Majestic Outdoors says all of the Edge collection is available in the US. We saw that.
I commented.
Available in the US. Windsor Plywood says blame Garson. I'm not sure what for, because the boards aren't available here.
What is the most popular color?
That's what I was looking for. AZ Dash. What is the most popular color combos? I don't know if he's referring to just the lines we've talked about or overall. So I'll leave that alone for now, because I don't think that any of those colors within the Edge Prime or Edge Premier or Prime lines really work together that well. They're all kind of just like, I wouldn't do Maritime Gray and Dark Teak together. I personally wouldn't.
But would you do Tidal Sand and Dark Teak?
Yeah, there's one. The Beechwood Gray, I think, is kind of a light, like that might look okay with Maritime Gray.
Sure.
So anyways, if this is an overall lineup, maybe we'll touch back on that again at the end when we've kind of discussed all the colors, and then we can get back to that.
Sounds good.
Somebody should ask a question on there using that question thing there, so we can see what happens when that happens.
You want me to do it?
I don't know what happens. Like, does that thing light up there?
Producer Bryce is
going to ask us a question. It's going to be great. So Train. We're done talking about that. Boom, boom, boom.
No Cortex or Pro Train because it's a scallop board.
Correct. Yeah. So good point. It's also scalloped with the exact same profile as the Edge Prime line. The Edge Prime line just uses the same. It uses the same extruder as the train line. So it's the same shape and everything.
Yeah.
So traction, good. Scratch resistance, not the greatest. It does knock down a little bit.
Yep.
So I wouldn't recommend this one for a household with big dogs. I've seen that personally. I've installed this stuff before and big dogs in the household, and
So again,
not
this
a lot
is
of
the
time
same.
it looks like if there's big dogs there.
The thing is, like, you could just tell people that when you're selling it to them.
Well,
I think
that's
if
the
you're
point of this, right?
upfront with them
That's the
about
point
it,
of this,
just like, listen, this is going to scratch a little bit. It's okay. Your car is going to get scratched.
Is it just me, or does coffee taste better out of this fantastic TimberTech Azek Yeti mug?
They taste really good.
Okay.
I had Carly in Saskatoon today told me he doesn't like Yeti mugs. He was like, I don't really like these mugs. So we're down to 2 employees in Saskatoon.
I was going to say, pretty volatile economy to be throwing dirt around like that, hey?
Anyways, he just said he doesn't like the lids. He was like, they leak. And so
How do they? No, they don't.
the Yeti lid leaks like crazy.
Close it.
Yeah, look at it. I poured it all over myself.
You did that with the lid closed.
Yep. They leak out of there. It happens.
Mine doesn't really leak too much.
does.
Like if it does, it's just a anyway.
No question on his side, he says. That is the strangest thing.
Pro used to have a line last year called Tropical for the last number of years. And
It was the
okay.
worst.
You hated it.
It was the worst line.
You hated it, but it was so what is the actual reason you hated it other than you
Because it
didn't like
scratched too
selling it?
easy. And I didn't
it
like
didn't
the
scratch
colors.
any easier
And I
than-
didn't like the names.
Okay. I figured there was probably some goofy reason for it. Why? What was wrong with the names?
I don't know. They had-
Amazon Mist, Caribbean Redwood.
Amazon Mist was fine. Caribbean Red was good. It was so.
So that's half the lineup.
what I didn't like Antique Palm
Antique Palm
and Antigua Gold. Same name,
Yeah, those two are goofy.
same color, same name. And they scratched too easy, and they were super slippery. And the price point wasn't good enough.
Okay. So they were very unique colors. They were very vibrant. Like Amazon Mist was a really blue gray, and Caribbean Redwood is really red, and the other ones are really yellow, and like they weren't natural looking colors so much. So did that actually work? Did you do something different there? No, nothing's happening there, Bryce. It just came up in the chat. So they were okay. They looked good when they were installed. We didn't sell hardly any of them. Like there was a couple sales in a couple of years. They weren't big movers for us. I don't know. They must not have been great movers for TimberTech as a whole because they axed the whole lineup this year.
Yeah.
So it's gone and they've replaced it. I don't know if replace is the
I
right
was
word,
like-
but
I kind of felt bad that the reason we didn't have sales on that line, I felt like was my bias, right?
well, you don't
would,
say.
people would talk about it and I wouldn't sell it. But then when TimberTech axed that whole line, I was like, yeah, no, I was justified in my in what I was doing because it's obviously I wasn't the only
They
one,
probably didn't axe it because they decided they didn't like their own names anymore. That probably wasn't their reason.
but probably didn't sell though. And so for whatever reason, it wasn't selling.
Maybe it was just a decision where it was like, we want to bring out this new line and we don't want 45 boards.
Yeah, just 39 is all we have room for.
So they replaced it with a line called Pro Reserve. And it's a more pricey line. So that's why I say I don't know if I should say that's been replaced by, because it's probably about 30 or 40% more than what Tropical was as far as price point goes.
It's 30
if
or
not
40%
more.
better.
But it's really good.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So the Reserve line's actually priced comparable to like a Trex Transcend. So it's priced at Trex's premium board. So it's not cheap. It is a premium board, but we're getting a full thickness board, full 1 inch, fully capped, and new embossing, new colors, and they're beautiful.
They really
They're
are.
really good.
Yeah.
They're
Durable,
also-
right? Like it's a durable cap.
Yeah.
The graining looks good.
I haven't had a chance
Colors
to
are
walk on them yet. We've got our samples downstairs, I believe. We should lay them out and see. My thought is that it may be a little bit slick. I haven't verified that, but there's nothing about it that tells me it's going to have great traction. So hopefully it's not slippery. Hopefully it's just kind of average. But if there's one knock on it, but it looks absolutely beautiful. The colors are amazing. Their names are really good, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the
okay.
best.
They're good. Good names.
They're better
These ones
names.
Pass.
They pass.
Okay. So 4 colors within the Reserve lineup. These boards look premium, even though they're not the top board in their lineup. They are every bit as good as anybody's top premium boards. So dark roast and antique leather are your brown contributors.
Yes.
Dark roast being the darker brown, antique leather being the lighter brown. Driftwood and storm gray are the gray colors. Now, if there was one complaint I would have on this, it's that there's not enough different, and this I've seen like many people people agree with me on this.
Billions and billions.
There's been a lot of people that say like the colors look awfully close
They're
to
the
each
same.
other.
They're the same color.
Driftwood and storm. One is just meant to be kind of more of a neutrally bluish gray,
Yep.
and the other one's meant to be more of a kind of dirty, tanny gray a little bit. But they're not that far apart. It's very subtle.
I think they should have picked one of those and then made the other one, whichever gray, and
just
just make
shifted it a couple
darker.
colors.
Just make it
tones
darker.
or something, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. TimberTech Garrett Prairies on Instagram says it's our equivalent to Trex Transcends, and that explains why it's priced at exactly where that is.
Yeah.
Right in the same ballpark, right?
Yep.
So
Good.
great lineup. So the whole Pro lineup, I don't think we mentioned yet that the warranty on it actually bumps up from the 25 years you get with Edge to a 30-year warranty with the Pro, all the Pro lines, the Train, Reserve, and the Legacy we were about to talk about. So now you're getting a 30-year fade, 30-year stain, 30-year structural warranty on that. So really
That's
good warranty.
fantastic.
Again, great company that you're getting backed by here. It's like people are going to fall into love with some of these Reserve colors. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
And we'll be a good gauge of that because we're going to have 100 colors displayed in our store because our store is awesome. And we're going to be able to see like amongst all these options that people get to look at,
Half
how
of them
often
will
are
be
they drawn to this Reserve line? And I think there's going to be some eyeballs drawn there. I think
Good.
they're really nice colors. So above I don't even know if I feel like comfortable saying above in price.
Above.
So we mentioned that Prime, did we start down the path? Did we start giving prices?
No, you just said it was low.
I'm going to use American price dollars here so I don't have to, so it doesn't get too confusing because there's a lot here. I'm guessing in the USA, the Edge Prime line is probably at or below $2 a linear foot.
Sure.
It probably starts with a 1, like between
like
high ones,
175
likely somewhere in there, likely
to 2.
Prime Plus, you're probably adding 70 cents to that, 50 to 70 cents to that price point.
240. 250.
Terrain's going to be fairly similar to the Prime Plus price point on the solid colors, and likely another 50 to 70 cent jump on the variegated colors.
Yep.
So we've got 3 price points already. Reserve, I mentioned, is a big jump up. That's going to jump up, we're going to measure that in dollars now, probably.
Correct.
Right?
This
So
is
now we're
going
getting
up
to these are premium price boards for sure.
455.
In the US, I would think they're probably
Just around
there,
5.
in there, yeah, for
Bouncing
sure.
around the 5.
And then we've got Legacy, and Legacy is going to be pushing up into the 5s for sure in the US dollar equivalents, I think.
High
So,
5s. Legacy should be high 5s. You don't have to draw a line through it. You haven't talked about any of it
I
yet.
don't know. Yeah, somewhere in the 5s. So 5 colors within that lineup. Same 30-year warranty that we've talked about. We've got another comment here. I think there will be a regional preference on the Reserve from Eric Thoreau. Nope, I said that the English way. Teru. We know this now. Let me give me more details into that thought there, Eric. I want to know what you think about if you think like regionally, if you think there's certain colors like in your area that'll work, but then in our area, like we're grays, so storm gray and driftwood gray are going to be popular out here.
Yes.
But undoubtedly,
I think
like
that
every color is regional.
Dark
right?
roast will work. I do believe that there is a lot more of the really dark browns coming back, right? I think more and more people are looking at those colors. So
Yeah. And then so Pro Legacy. So in the Legacy collection, we've got 5 colors. Now we've got our traditional browns. So we've got, okay, here we go. Pecan or pecan.
That's a pecan.
We've got pecan. We've got mocha. Those are both browns. Those are very close to in colors.
Yes.
Right? Like one's just a couple shades darker than the
Yeah,
other.
they could get rid of either one of those and then they should get rid of pecan because nobody knows how to say it anyway.
Yeah, that's right. And then Tigerwood, which is a yellowy brown one. Ashwood, which is your typical gray. And then they've got a unique one in there called whitewash cedar, which is, it's pretty white. It's not pure
so
white.
nice.
It's like an off-white with
It's
some
sharp.
grayish and a little bit of brown streaking in it. It's pretty good looking. It's obviously not for everybody. Not everybody wants a super white deck, but if you're looking for something that looks sharp, looks unique, and stays a little bit cooler on the feet, this is one of the least hot boards in the sun because of its color.
Certainly.
It's a good option. Now, the big seller with Legacy, this is a premium board again, full thickness, full wrap. It's also a big texture play because the Legacy line has that hand-scraped hardwood finish to it.
Yeah.
So it's smooth, like it's not a rough surface, but it's a wavy surface. It's kind of neat. It's different.
It's neat to look at, and it's neat to walk on. Like, you can feel it. It has a texture under your feet, right?
Yep.
It's very tactile.
Yep.
But I think it's a little slippery.
So Australia Illuminated Balustrade is representing the entire country of Australia.
Big day for you. Anything
Says-
else you want to say?
Says that dark roast is popular in Australia. TimberTech Garrett says driftwood has been the most popular on the prairies, so that's not surprising.
Correct.
And Michael Shaheen says it's pecan.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys.
Yeah.
And what's puccan? I don't think anybody said puccan. Pucan. So Legacy. This lineup has multiple colors streaking through it. And it's not big blotches of color like some other, like Trex Transcend has kind of those, like the really aggressive blotchy streaking that some people like and some people feel is too aggressive. It's got almost like, how do I describe this? You know, like some hair gels or like hair, when you put your hands together and you pull it apart, it strings.
Yes.
The streaking in it's very stringy like that. Like it's a stringy and multiple colors. It looks really cool.
Yep.
I love the look of it. Like when you see a deck done in TimberTech Pro Legacy, looks amazing. It is a smoother surface. It does, it's not going to have the best traction in class, but it's not the worst either. It's just kind of average.
Thing that was not super amazing about that textured top is when you put the Cortex plugs in there. And so the Cortex plugs are all cut flat, right? They're smooth.
Yeah.
And then you end up putting them in this board that has like ripples
or they're
in
not
it.
because they're cut from those boards. But you're right. Like it
never lines
what's
up right.
that? What's the word? Hey, geography guy. What's the like if we have different elevations of something, what's that called? Like the ground has like there's a map that shows you the different topography. Is it, maybe that's what I'm trying to go with this. The topography of the plugs and the board, because I
can't believe
good
you asked.
word, Wade.
Geography guy.
Holy smokes.
I'm on fire today.
You are on fire.
Yeah.
So that's
Pucan is somewhere in Mexico.
that rounds out TimberTech's traditional wood plastic composite deck boards or composite deck boards. So there's a lot of them there.
Do you have a favorite in that?
Do I have a favorite line or color?
Line, I think.
Oh boy. I would have to say that Reserve's got to be my favorite line. If I wasn't considering anything but the coloring and the look of the boards, Legacy's pretty good too, but that Reserve line's really good.
Okay.
But as far as bang for your buck, I think that Edge Prime Plus is the best bang for your buck. You're getting that very good color, looks great, and it's still a low price point.
Okay. So what's your favorite then?
Reserve?
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure. It was like, it was Reserve, and then I thought maybe you were switching. I thought maybe you were going to Sea Salt Gray. You're doing the Edge Prime Plus as your favorite.
No, Reserve.
Okay. There it is.
Well, what's your favorite?
Reserve for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go, TimberTech.
That's a great move
Our
on their
opinion
part.
matters.
It doesn't, but that's a great move on their part. They took out the one I hated the most, and then they've brought in the new line that they brought in.
Do you remember what our buttons do? Before we get on to the Azek?
No. I don't. One of them is like,
Well, it sure beats fighting dudes with treasure trails.
I remember that one. Let's get on to the Azek line. So the Azek, as we mentioned, is TimberTech's PVC decking.
Yep.
And look back into our old podcast episodes. There's a early on, probably within the first maybe 20 episodes, probably the first 10, there's actually an episode called something like what's the difference between composite and PVC.
yep.
Go listen to that if you're not familiar with what the differences are. In short, PVC does not have any wood organic content in it, whereas composites do have some sort of filler in them. And in WPC's case, it's a sawdust of some sort. And they use different plastics. It's high density polyethylene plastic versus the straight polyvinyl chloride plastic. So different types of plastic. I'm getting a flag here to say, watch the Deck Shop Shorts episode that we're going to do in
That we're going
we
to
did,
do?
that
We didn't do it.
We have, well, we might have to reshoot it. That we'll post about
Did
the
you wear a
differences
green
between
shirt?
composites and PVCs as well.
You didn't have the right shorts on.
No, we just didn't have our right green screen set up and the lighting was not right yet. And everything that we've put out from those days has been like, pretty bad. It's been pretty rough around the edges. So we're reshooting some of that stuff.
Yeah.
But we'll have that episode of the Deck Shop Shorts that'll explain the differences in 2 or 3 minutes. So you can watch that too, or go back and listen to the podcast.
Okay.
But the PVC line has 3 lines within it. So Azek Harvest, Azek Arbor, Azek Vintage. And in that order, as far as price points go. So your Azek Harvest line has 3 colors within it called Kona, which is like a reddish brown, slate gray, which is obviously a gray, and a brownstone, which is like a tanny color. And
Very similar to sandy birch color.
Yeah, similar. Yeah. And so they're solid colors, no variegation, nice embossing though.
I like the embossing
nice
quite a
wood
bit
embossing
on
to
this.
it. Yeah. Now this year, the change they made this year was that the Azek Harvest line is now also being included in the multi-width boards. So you couldn't, maybe not the Kona. I don't know about Kona. Maybe I think it actually might just be slate gray and brownstone. There's a couple TimberTech guys in the IAG chat. They can correct us on this, but I think the multi-width is just slate gray and brownstone, if I'm wrong. No, maybe it's the whole Harvest line. They're going to tell us here shortly, and then we'll pass it on. But a good price point if you're looking for PVC boards, because PVC boards are never going to be as low cost as some of the composite options. The inputs are a little bit more expensive. The extrusion time on them is a little bit slower, so you can't produce it as fast.
That's right.
The failure rate out of the machines when the chemical reaction can sometimes collapse, that board's toast, whereas with a composite, they can throw it back into the wood chipper, grind it up, and reuse it, so there's no waste. So there's just a couple small things that just add to the cost of making a PVC deck board. So it is a little bit more of a premium price, but this is a good price as far as PVC boards go.
Correct.
That Harvest line.
I agree.
The Azek Arbor line now is a similar embossing, in that I don't believe that either one of these are super realistic looking boards as far as wood goes, but that doesn't mean they're not nice.
No. Nobody looks at this and thinks, well, that's a cedar deck.
And the reason I make that distinction is because vintage very much is, but Arbor is still, but Arbor you start to get some of that variegation. There's a little bit of color spreading through the board. It looks really nice. There's 4 colors within that called Autumn Chestnut, Murado, Island Oak, and Brazilian Walnut. And those are some really good looking boards if you're not trying to trick anybody that they're wood.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
All there is to say.
Garrett.
Only slate gray and brownstone. So I was right on that. Not Kona, says TimberTech Garrett on the prairies. Then the final lineup within jeez. Is it Sunday yet?
It's closer.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Final lineup is Azek Vintage. Now, I'll talk about the warranty here before, too. On all of these Azek lines, you're getting the biggest warranty that they offer, and one of the biggest in the industry, 50-year on fade and stain, and a lifetime structural warranty. So most...
Lifetime? Limited lifetime. Everybody puts that.
Everything's limited.
Well, you better put it on.
Most PVC deck boards do give you that limited lifetime warranty because there's no organic component to it that could break down. But TimberTech is very strong. 50-year fade and stain, limited lifetime warranty. And so we, in our warranty episodes, if you again want to look back into the previous podcast episodes that we did about the warranties, we also learned that like sometimes there's a little bit more to the story below the number on top. And TimberTech's warranties were very favorable in that they don't depreciate as fast as some of the other brands. So if you're making a claim in year 26, you were still getting a good chunk of your cash back, whereas other brands maybe had depreciated you down quite a bit by then. So it's not only a big number and fancy for marketing purposes, but it's also a well-backed, strong warranty.
Correct.
So,
yeah.
now within that Azek Vintage line, this is arguably one of the nicest lines of decking out there, I believe. Like if you're looking for something that is realistic looking, like realistic to hardwood, this is the one, because there's some colors in there that you'd be hard pressed to tell the difference, even sitting 3 feet from it.
Yes.
I know that if you look on Instagram, I think even TimberTech Garrett that's in here kind of chatting with us right now has done a display that features a picture frame of some actual hardwood mixed and matched with some vintage boards behind a framed piece of glass. And it's like, can you tell which one's which?
That's awesome.
He couldn't fool me. I'm kidding. Like it was tough. Like a very good demonstration of how closely they've nailed the look of these boards to real hardwood.
Good.
So. Within that lineup, there is Dark Hickory, which is it's an odd color. It's a dark gray, but it's definitely got a bit of a purpley browny undertone to it. But it's a really good color. It pairs
like it's dark. It's almost black.
It's quite dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
It pairs so well with Coastline.
Yes.
Coastline is like a light gray with like some tanny streaking to it a little bit tanny gray to it, but it's
Coastline's like that
definitely
new
a gray,
color that
though.
everybody's chasing, right?
Yeah.
It's the
And so Coastline is their attempt at recreating like Ipe that's weathered.
yeah.
I don't want
On
to
the
call it weathered
coastline.
Ipe because there's other brands, there's other colors out there called weathered Ipe, but this one actually is really close to like a 20-year-old Ipe that's weathered and has a gray patina to it. That's what it looks like. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Nolan Hill Deck Build says they love the vintage line.
You should do karaoke roulette with Nolan. We should pull up a song for him and then he can tune in live and sing with us.
Okay.
He texted me earlier today. Do you remember when we did that? You weren't there. You didn't go to karaoke roulette with us.
Well, I don't know what the roulette part is. I was at the dive bar and people were karaokeing, but I'm not sure what the roulette part
Right.
is.
So the day I went, there was a day that you didn't go.
I'm glad you're explaining this because I like.
So the karaoke roulette, what happened was I would fill out a card for Nolan and he had no idea what the song was until they called his name and then he walked up and stood on stage and then the TV screen turned on and it was the song he was about to sing. And that's when he found out. And we were doing it for so Joel from Mountain View did one for me. I did one for Nolan and then they wrote down a duet one for TIMERTECH. Megan from TIMERTECH and I did a duet. People were like filling out cards and you had to karaoke the song that they filled out. So Nolan texted me today and was like, we need an app that does karaoke roulette and you can shoot it to people and then
It's literally called TikTok.
there it is.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well,
I've been telling you about this app for a while.
Nolan,
you found your use case.
get on
Now
TikTok.
get on it and do it. Donegan Decking is tuning in from Australia as well. That makes 33% of our audience right now is in the Instagram lives from Australia.
Know when to
Guaranteed
hold
Wade
'em,
sings
Kenny
that
Rogers.
sings that "No One to Hold 'Em" song. Who?
Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, well, like who doesn't know that it's Kenny Rogers,
Well, he's
the
Australian.
gambler?
He doesn't know.
You
He's
know that
Australian.
that "No One to Hold 'Em" song.
Yeah.
You got to
Know when to hold 'em.
When to hold 'em. Know when to fold. When to fold 'em.
Know when to walk away.
Know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table.
Turns out Shane sings this one.
There you go, Dunning and Decking. Now you know a little bit more. You know what? Kenny Rogers passed away recently.
I know I said that twice before anybody even acknowledged it. I have to speak louder.
He was I love that guy. I listened to a lot of Kenny Rogers when I was 8 years old.
So did I.
Like
My
a lot.
my mom played it all the time.
And then as a result of being such a big Kenny Rogers fan when I was young, I just automatically didn't really like Randy Travis. It's like I can't, he's the Pepsi to my Coke here.
I didn't mind Randy Travis.
So to finish talking about the vintage line here, dark hickory, that dark gray, coastline, that light gray, cypress is a bit of a yellowy color. No, sorry, it's a little bit more orangey. I shouldn't call
Yeah,
it yellow.
cypress
Weathered
is
teak is
orange.
more the yellowy one.
Yeah, that's right.
Cypress is kind of orangey. Weathered teak is the yellowy kind of option. Mahogany is the one that if you're looking to replicate a hardwood, an oiled hardwood, mahogany is the one.
Yep.
Like it's bang on. It's bang on.
Yep.
And then you've got the gray entry with English walnut, which again, very
English
realistic.
walnut is brown.
More neutral brown. Yeah. And, but like the embossing to these things is very hairline, very fine, just like Ipe is, just like a lot of hardwoods are. And yeah, as a result of it, it looks fantastic. It's got great traction. The whole Azek lineup has really good traction, better than the composite lines. So you're getting that when you go up to it. You're getting the guarantee that there's no organic material. It's nothing to fail in there. You're getting the longer warranty. And in Azek Vintage's case, you're getting like, you're going to trick some people on what's
Yep.
installed in your deck.
It's so nice.
So yeah, now we mentioned before, so just a quick roll through again, the TimberTech Edge line is your entry level line. That's going to have your 25-year warranty, non-capped back, fairly durable, good budget price point board.
Yep.
Your Pro line has a wide variety of price points in it. Means you're getting the 4-sided capping, you're getting the 30-year warranty, so a little bit more warranty. I would say that on the Train line, you scratch a little bit easier, but the price points are lower. You get into Reserve, it's
Better
more durable, much nicer looking, more color variegation to it, a nicer embossing to it, and you get to Legacy, and all of a sudden you get the texture. Now you're bringing in the feeling, the sense, the hand sense, the touch
Yes.
comes into play there as well.
Yep. The texture.
Go up to the Azek lines and you get into your straight PVCs. And so you're getting your warranty way up there to a 50-year and lifetime warranty on that one. You're getting good traction on those ones. These are the ones, like all plastic can be healed with the heat gun a little bit, but Azek PVCs are really good for it. So if you get a little bit of scratching that's minor, you can kind of heat gun it away. That's kind of a nice advantage there. As far as workability, the Azek line being a PVC is just lighter to work with, screws a little bit easier, all these kinds of things.
Yep.
So it's really good. Price point, as we went through it, they get higher and higher and higher. Right? Like your Azek lines, your Harvest and Arbors are going to be less money than your Legacies, but your Vintage is going to be the most expensive board that TimberTech puts out there. So if you have some customers that not too concerned about budget and they want the number one,
that's it.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Right? Now, TimberTech, much like Trex we talked about on some of our other content, doesn't just do decking. That's what we're focusing this podcast episode on, but they do a wide variety of products. They've also got porch board profiles of a lot of these Azek colors as well. They make railing, composite railing. They've gotten into aluminum railing as well. So tons of railing options. Yep. They're into furniture now. So some furniture lines, that's kind of a licensing deal they've got. They do produce lighting, which I'm sure is also a licensing deal. Azek pavers, which is a cool recycled tire, recycled rubber paver product on a grid that goes together like Lego, but has some advantages in being very sanitary and softer to walk on than traditional concrete. So it's a very unique product, but very cool.
I think if you had an opportunity to sell those at like a school or a university or a patio for a restaurant, right? If you were able to, could you imagine if you had pavers on a patio, like an outdoor patio, how like it would be great for the servers. It would be sanitary because you wouldn't stain all of the pavers with like.
I think it makes a ton of sense for outdoor patios at restaurants.
Yeah,
because your servers' feet, legs, and back.
Plus you drop the odd
wearing
plate.
them a lot less down. You're not, plates or cups dropping that stuff. They're likely not to break.
Maybe you got a chance, right? With a
concrete,
no
it's
chance
breaking.
With an Azek paver, you're like, you got a chance.
Probably not. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and again, food spills. If it spills, it's not going to stain. You just wash it off, and away it goes.
Yeah,
so
it's
cool,
COVID free.
Yeah,
as opposed to the concrete ones.
Yes, sir. What else do they do? The dry space. So they've got an under deck dry space system,
water rain management system.
Right. Installs from underneath, so it is a retrofit system as well. You don't have to do it before your decking, but you can zip up the underneath of your deck and keep it dry with that product. They got a couple colors, white and then an off-white called
Bone White.
And then fasteners. Of course, everybody makes their own fasteners or licenses their own fasteners, whatever, but TimberTech is no different. They have their own lineup of fasteners as well. So quite a wide variety of products in the outdoor living industry. They've made a lot of big moves lately. We've had a change in reps. Welcome to TimberTech Garrett Prairies, who's still on here. He's our new rep. Mm-hmm. It's been a few months now, since before Christmas. So he's
November, December.
He's got no excuses anymore. He's saying the pavers are 95% recycled tires and PVC. So there you go.
That's good. That's
environmentally friendly as well.
Green story too.
Yeah. Anyway, that if you didn't know before, now you probably know why you would ever buy TimberTech.
Now you know. Now you know.
Great brand, great lineup, good company. They've been around for long. Sorry, great company. I didn't mean to make that sound like products are great, companies just a little bit less great. I didn't mean for it to come across that. They're all great.
September.
All these products are great. So they've all got their use case scenarios. If you have any questions about what product might be for you or the differences and you need a little bit more information, hit us up, send us a message on Instagram or wherever you want, and we'll do our best to help you out.
Or TikTok. They could message us on TikTok.
Follow us on TikTok. We're on TikTok. Did you know we're on TikTok?
I did.
Okay, good.
I don't follow us.
We're on a lot of different platforms, so follow us. We're going to be punching out a ton of stuff on YouTube, okay? So if you're not following us and subscribed to YouTube already, go do that because that's probably where we're going to be slamming out the most amount of content in the next little while here. I'm sure it'll get shared to Instagram and stuff too, but
on YouTube?
It's going to be big. It's going to be big. So follow us on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate the guys that follow in on Instagram and comment with us. It makes us feel like just a little bit more of a friendly place. You know what I mean?
This is a pretty friendly place.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
You've been listening to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Ultimate Deck Podcast. Brought to you by the Ultimate Deck Shop. Shop with us at www.ultimatedeckshop.com or check us out at all the social networks we can keep up with. Hit us up for any collaboration or sponsorship opportunities. Thanks for listening.